Happy you could join us. We are joined, as always, by Greg Engert, beer director for the Neighborhood Restaurant Group, a James Beard Award nominee. The group includes Blue Jacket Brewery down by Nats Park. The Arsenal Restaurant is there, also GBD in DuPont Circle. Greg, it is always good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
What is on tap this week?
So this week we are going to be tasting just an incredible beer that is out and about right now. You'll see it on the shelves. Not much draft available of it, but it's from North Coast Brewing Company out of Fort Bragg, California. This is Mark Rudrick's baby. He's been brewing there since 1988. So this is their, 2013 was their 25th year.
Wow.
And you know, they're a classic craft brewery, best known for beers like Red Seal. Red Seal's their hoppy amber. Scrimshaw is their kind of Kolsch-esque Pilsner.
It's got a
Kolsch.
dog on the label, right? Scrimshaw, one of them?
Scrimshaw has the whale's tooth.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Never mind, sorry.
Red Seal has a seal that looks very dog-esque. You know, these classic ones, and you know, but at the same time, they've been brewing an imperial stout called Old Rasputin since forever, you know, and so they were kind of ahead of the curve with that. And a kind of English big, huge barley wine called Old Stock Ale. And what I love about North Coast is that they're not releasing barrel-aged beers like crazy. They're not releasing sours. They don't have an imperial IPA. They stuck to their guns. They stuck to these classic recipes that get better and better over time. And then they have some now classic barrel-aged beers that they release as well. So this is the cellar reserve for Old Stock. Old Stock is typically, it's a really rich malty barley wine of about 11.8%. Back in 2005, they started playing around with brandy barrel aging Old Stock. That was the first vintage. So it spends about 2.5 years in barrel, then they release it. So they did a vintage in 2005, which released, 2.5 years later in 2007. But then the next vintage was 2009, which released in 2011. And then this vintage, which just came out, is the 2011 beer that's been slumbering in brandy barrels for the past 2.5 years. And it is very, very exceptional thing. And you think about it too, like, so these guys have been making a beer like this since 2005. It's pretty cool. Now, it does pick up quite a bit of alcohol. You know, 11.8, it's 15.2 when it comes out. So it's
Who put that in there?
It's brandy, but it's delicious.
Oh my. Ooh, isn't that a treat? Really nice, that fig date.
Yep.
You know,
it's very port-like.
Types of beers, and you know,
very port, very huge, like really tawny port-esque. There's even notes of like cocoa and cinnamon spice, layers and layers of malt flavor. But it's great because the nose has a brandy pop to it, but the palate is very smooth. It's not fusily, it's not boozy. And what you find with long-term barrel aging like this is that, believe it or not, it was, I'm sure, like, 6 to 9 months in, it was really, really even more brandy-esque than it is now. But along with that is that it was really boozy. And so then when you keep it in there for longer and longer, some of the brandy flavors will subside, though not that much. But the alcohol character will smooth out, and you get this just delicious sipping beer.
What would you pair it with?
This is, a beer that's, brandy's tough to pair with food. So this brandy barrel-aged beer can be tough. Yeah, but you can do cigars with it. The classic brandy pairing with dessert is like dark chocolates, creme brulees, things like that. I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Foie gras. I'm thinking like a lot of French, so lamb chops, foie, duck confit, things that are big and fatty and rich. You could do it with like, beef tenderloin with like a huge mushroom sauce or a black pepper sauce. But even I can see doing it with like a really thick cut of like pork chop with a lot of fat on it, and maybe some like fruit compote alongside or something like that.
Last Sunday night was a big night that many people have been waiting a long time for, and that was
Nerds
the
across
season
the world.
premiere of Game of Thrones. We won't tell you anything about it, but a colleague of mine, Alicia Lozano at WTOP, is probably the biggest Game of Thrones fan at the station, and she was curious about what would be a good beer to drink while you're watching that show, and you were telling me before we started that this might fit the bill.
This is it. what else would you want to do on a Sunday night? Right before you have to go to work, that I say to drink a 15% alcohol beer, right? So, no, I mean, the show is always really intense. It's dark. It's epic. So big, huge beers seem to fit the bill, at least metaphorically, and I think on the palate as well. And the third Game of Thrones beer is releasing right about now, which is the collaboration with Game of Thrones and HBO and Omegang.
Right. We did the first two.
We did the first two. We'll do the next one probably a little bit into the future because we haven't gotten our hands on it quite yet. But it's a big, rich, malty Belgian-style ale with rye for spice and some ancho chili peppers. So that'll also do well with Sunday night viewing.
I like those pepper beers. Well, look for this and look for the new Game of Thrones beer. And Greg, thank you as always.
Thank you.
Everyone, please always do drink responsibly and be sure to bring your thirst next time for another Beer of the Week.